Hola amigo, welcome back to another video. What we're going to be going through today is the Google algorithm update that recently was released on the 8th of April. Alright, so what we're going to go through today is exactly what the algorithm update was about, how you can adapt to it, and just the general things that you should be aware of if you are running any kind of affiliate blog, okay, if you're promoting affiliate products. So what this update was specifically based around is to target product reviews. So a lot of the time, Google describes thin content as that cookie cutter type content. So you know, like the content where you go onto a review and it just has the same kind of layout again and again and again, sort of like how you'd use a cookie cutter, yeah? That's why we use that term in SEO. A lot of the time also, it's just summarizing what you find on Amazon. So even to a certain degree, a lot of my posts that I've put out over the years are of that level, okay? So they're not that great, but it's good enough in the past to rank and make money and so on and so forth. So what they've done recently is tried to eradicate all that type of content in order to make the content as helpful and informational as possible for the readers and searchers that are using the search engine. So what we're gonna read today is Google Search Central. It's a blog that's ran by Google, and you get all of this information that is usually released in this technical kind of jargon, all broken down into layman terms. So it works for idiots like me, you know, so I can read it and understand it. Google Search is now on its way to show the most useful and helpful information possible. From this, we know people appreciate product reviews that share in-depth research rather than thin content that simply summarizes a bunch of products. That's why we're sharing an improvement to our ranking systems, which we call the product reviews update, that's designed to better reward such content. Funny enough, just recently, I check out Income School's channel all the time, and they released a video on original research. If you haven't watched that video, this is probably the most important time for you to go and watch that video, because it's all about creating original content, okay? So I'm gonna go over some of that briefly here, but if you really want that in-depth information, then I would head over to their video, and I'll do a video on it coming up. But we're all gonna be needing to follow that methodology moving forward. So it says this update is going out today and only involves English language reviews for now. We believe this will further help those producing rich content in the product reviews area. Although this is separate from our regular core updates, the advice that we provide about producing quality content for those is also relevant here. Okay, so all of the general information that you've received over the previous core updates about producing high quality content is still relevant now. You should still be applying all of those strategies and tips to your content in general, and that obviously also covers your product reviews. The overall focus on providing users with thin content provides insightful analysis and original research, and is written by experts or enthusiasts who know the topic well. So this exactly summarizes Income School's methodology and the type of strategy that they're moving forward with, which I'm using as well, okay? Personally, just looking at the way that things are going, I would say that building informational sites are probably the way to go for the most of us, okay? Unless you're a very experienced SEO, and if in that case, you probably wouldn't be watching this video. But what I would say is if you got 30 posts on a site and you're doing like 10 maybe easy low comp keywords, long tail, and then 10 like medium competition, 2,500 words, 3,000 words, whatever it may be, and then maybe 10 most big, massive, difficult terms that you're trying to go for. Well, the 10 that you do that are like medium are usually going to be your product reviews or shareable listicles. I would say maybe do like 2 to 3, maybe 2 to 5 Best Buy product reviews or roundups within that. And then you can also throw in a few single product reviews off of those Best Buys if you want to do that as well, and you know, interlink them and whatever else. Just for your general Best Buy roundups, I'd say probably the best to go with is about 5 of them max in amongst 30 posts. For those creating content, here are some additional useful questions to consider in terms of product reviews. Do your reviews express expert knowledge about the product where appropriate? So what this means is specifically you need to be showcasing expert knowledge around these products. So usually if you're not an expert in the field, then you need to go and contact an expert. And honestly, it's going to just separate your content from anything else that's available on the internet, because if everyone's just researching and recycling information and creating that Me Too type content, then you can go out, research and speak to an expert and get their opinion, put that into your review or help you to form an opinion in your post through that research. So a good example of this is if you're doing it for a pet review site or something like that, pet food, you could go out and speak to a professional vet and get their expert opinion on the best foods to feed based on their professional knowledge, okay? So you could include that like vet recommended foods, okay? And then also link out to the resources or mention the resources where you gathered that information. So they've got show what the product is like physically or how it is used with unique content beyond what is provided by the manufacturer. This is what's really important about this. They said beyond what is provided by the manufacturer. So a lot of the time the manufacturer is what provides all the Amazon reviews, okay? So when you're going and just pulling information from Amazon or from whatever affiliate product page you're trying to get it from, that's what the manufacturers put out. So when you're writing a blog or something, the truth is you're meant to be giving your general opinion, and the reason someone's searching it is specifically because they want to see what a personal opinion has to say about it, okay? So what a real person has to say about it. So that's why they're searching it. It's like the same as when, say for example, you're going to buy like an affiliate course or something like that, and then you go and search it and you might see like my video and you're like, I want to see what Leon has to say on this specific review, because you really don't care what the course tutor has to say because their interest is to sell it to you, you know? So that's the same as when someone's reading a manufacturer's product review, you know? So what we need to do is put our own opinion and our own thoughts onto it. And specifically just looking at this question, what they're trying to explain is that we need to be buying the products. And this is why I would say you don't want to go crazy with product reviews at this stage. What I would say is maybe have a selection of products that you buy which can reuse across different posts or different types of content. Provide quantitative measurements about how a product measures up in various categories of performance. So what this is asking you to do is to break down the different segments about the product. Maybe like if we're talking about a device, the battery life, the screen quality, the memory capacity, all of the different categories and how the product measures up. That way people are able to gauge how it measures up against other products or how it measures up in general to gain a general understanding of how good the product is, okay? So if you were to say, you know, I don't know, it lasts for this amount of time regarding a mobile phone, you're going to be able to easily gauge, oh, well, my phone lasts about, you know, 10 hours or so or whatever on a full charge. So this one lasts 2 days. Oh, wow, this is a good product. Maybe I should go buy it. We've then got explain what sets a product apart from its competitors, okay? So this is just something you would do anyway if you're creating good content, but just how it compares against other products. Instead of focusing on how it compares against other products, I would say focus on the uniqueness of the product, okay? So what are the things that specifically set it apart from everything else? And thinking of it in that way will help you to create the right type of content. Okay, they've got cover comparable products to consider or explain which products might be best for certain uses or circumstances. Again, depending on the reader's circumstance or the problem that you're trying to solve, then you would describe the specific purpose or persons or situation that the product best solves. Okay, so that's something that I teach anyway, but you most definitely have to be explaining what specific purposes the product solves and who it's for. So that way people are quickly able to navigate throughout your top 10 and go, oh, well, this one is if you want a long battery life, but this one is if you want the highest memory capacity. And you should be doing that on every single product. Essentially, what your products need to do is be the best at something. Like, so if you got top 5 or top 3 or whatever, why are they there and how do they differ from each other? So that's specifically within your content and how it's comparing to other products within your roundup, okay? Discuss the benefits and drawbacks of a particular product based on research into it, okay? So this is not even specifically talking about that you have to own the product, but just on researching into the product, it's asking you to describe the benefits and the drawbacks. In our terms, it's going to be the pros and cons, okay? So what are the pros and what are the cons, the benefits and the drawbacks, okay? But they're describing it in that way because when you're explaining products, you don't want to be describing the specifications. You more want to focus on the benefits because benefits focus on the problems that the product solves, okay? So it helps your reader to understand and grasp that very easily. Describe how a product has evolved from previous models or releases to provide improvements, address issues, or otherwise help users in making a purchase decision. If you're describing a product that has previous models, previous versions, or whatever it may be, and it had been released differently in the past, then you want to specifically identify the changes and where that either improved or diminished in quality. Identify key decision-making factors for product's category and how the product performs in those areas. For example, a car review might determine that fuel economy, safety, and handling are key decision-making factors and rate performance in those areas. When they're talking about identifying key decisions, you should be doing that anyway. But what I would recommend is something that I used to do so heavily is before you go into your top 10 or top 3 or top 5, whatever it may be, I would personally always walk the person through of what things they need to make a decision on. Okay, so a great example of this is this website, because they always specifically go into detail of how to choose the product. So this is a random post that I pulled up of these guys. They've got like top 10 products, but you can't, oh yeah, you can actually click them. So they have actually explained it in a table here, which is fine. I mean, this is not bad because they've summarized it here. I personally won't be putting 10 up here though. I'd have maybe about 3 or 5 maximum, because you don't want to confuse people with a long list of 10 and whatever else. Yeah. What you then want to do is when you're going into your in-depth content, you want to go through helping them make a choice. That's the first thing you want to go through. So if you look at this, as soon as they start the post, one introduction, and then boom, they're straight into product reviews. Now that's great. Don't get me wrong. It works for this site because this site's very successful. But if they wanted to be more helpful, and this is a specific like product review site, so I mean it's specifically focused just around that. For us, we're probably not going to be making a site specifically just straight around products like non-stop reviews. Just to clarify on this, things you need to consider is going to be motor speed and power, noise, vibration and heat, size and weight, corded and cordless dog clippers, blades, oils, combs, single and multiple speeds. And what you want to do a lot of the time when you're putting all these things in is you want to put the general things that people need to consider, but then you also want to put a few things that people wouldn't usually think of, things that they might be surprised at when they read and they think, oh well, you know what, I never really thought of that, but that's really good. If you can establish that level of quality from the beginning of your post, the likelihood of someone actually believing what you have to say in the product reviews is going to shoot through the roof. If I was like, hey, click the affiliate links inside of my description box and end the video, you're probably not going to buy anything that I have to recommend. But if I deliver and just gain some level of trust with you, rapport in that sense, then you're probably going to trust everything I have to say. And when I recommend a product, you'll be like, you know what, this guy seems genuine. Maybe he's telling the truth. Okay, so you're going to be a lot more warm to being sold to, opposed to if I had done it vice versa. Describe key choices in how a product has been designed and their effect on users beyond what the manufacturer says. All right, so what this seems like is they're talking specifically about the features of a product and how it's been put together. A lot of the time, a manufacturer is always going to be trying to gain a customer base. So everything they do is going to be in favor of them getting the sale. What you need to do is explain it from your personal perspective so people can really gain an understanding of how the features or specifications affect the use of the product and the benefits that it serves. If you want to create original research content, a few of the things that you need to be doing is most definitely going out and buying the products if you can. That's going to really separate you from anything else that you can find on the internet. Creating polls, so going out to groups, forums and things like that to gather a perspective on how others have had an experience with the product. So say for example, if you can't get hold of it yourself or it's too expensive, then you can probably go and find a Facebook group or a forum and put out a post asking others on their perspective of the product. Usually just doing like a multiple choice poll or something like that, because you'll quickly be able to gather data and form an opinion that's completely unique to anything else on the other top 10 results of Google. Reaching out to experts. So if you are doing something to do with like, I don't know, you know, I've got motorbike site, you know, you could go and speak to actual motorbike stores or people who run the tracks, like where you can go outdoors and ride on track. All those different things are going to give you a different perspective. Or again, you could go into a group and gain some kind of insight to a particular product from that, because a lot of the time customers have no interest of selling you on anything. So if someone's had a bad experience, they're going to just openly say it. If they've had a good experience, they're going to tell you about that as well. Depending on how big your site is as well, will depend on if you can run like a poll on your own site. So sometimes your own visitors of the site can give you information on different things about a particular product. So that can also help you to form an opinion inside of your reviews. You want to be using a lot of tables, charts, and graphs to record all of your data. Also, look at the things that are missing from the other reviews across the top 10. So if there are specific things that you think, hey, you know what, I would have absolutely included that inside of the review, or someone would absolutely want to know about that and they haven't covered it, that's an opportunity for you to separate yourself from the rest. But most importantly, you want to be trying to get hold of these products. So if you can reach out to manufacturers, if you've got a site over 50,000 odd visitors a month or something like that, it's a good stage to start reaching out to vendors, because you've got a large enough potential audience for their product to reach, and just start trying to get these products in, because a lot of the time for them to give you a product worth like $100, $200 or whatever else is going to be a huge ROI for them, because it's cheap marketing, I should say. They give you that product and then you might be making sales for them for the next 5 to 10 years. It's in their interest to give you the product and let you test it out. Okay, that's about it really. So I hope that helps you with creating better content and better product reviews in accordance with the new product reviews update from Google. If you have any questions or there's anything that I've missed inside of this video, then make sure to leave that in the comment section below, and leave your comments on what you think we need to be doing moving forward, so others can benefit from that, or anything that I've missed that you think I could have added. Okay, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.